Just because on the hegemony point, I mean, I think this is it is one of the fundamental questions, which is that the populist challenge to technocracy has been based in large part on feeding people ideology, right? On a much bigger scale, which is in some ways, one aspect of the end of history. I noticed this very clearly with like Bolsonaro's challenge to the certain kind of progressive technocracy of the Workers' Party and what came before it, which is just like, I'm going to rule on kind of not really pushing through any policies, not really driving forward any kind of institutional change, but just kind of breaking stuff, move fast, break things, and make a lot of ideological claims, which works for the base, but maybe doesn't work for everybody. And I think one of the big questions on this, and we can think about Meloni's rhetoric against migrants, for example, is that, well, what does it provide people? Well, it provides people with a notion of inside and outside, and it makes claims about which citizens are inside and which citizens or indeed non-citizens are to be excluded. That is the basis, I guess, of the political economy of the thing, and indeed that's been Orban's modus operandi in his own way as well. Ultimately, a lot of I agree with Lee that hegemonic probably not in the sense of actually mobilizing people's enthusiasm in some way for these political groupings and forms beyond their bases. But a lot of it still rests on the basic condition of contemporary politics, which is civic privatism. To the extent that people aren't revolting in response to economic conditions, the thing can kind of continue on. And I think that's probably why Meloni's been successful, in that she's basically is the new form of conservatism, of continuity politics, which is always the default of government. And she's just come in and provided some, a bit more ideological gruel to subsist on. And unless people are kind of revolting, that can kind of continue.
I mean, I think that's true, but that's because the order that we have is now non-hegemonic, right? But there's no counter-hegemonic challenges, so the thing can just roll on and decay.